My cabin bag handle broke. I searched everywhere for a replacement, but I couldn't find one. So I asked myself, can I design and 3D print an entirely new handle that actually works? Let's find out. This handle actually broke quite a while ago. Though the handle mechanism works, every time I pull the suitcase, I feel like the top piece is going to come off. I looked online for a replacement. Nothing. Last week, I was ready to throw this bag away, but then I thought, why don't I give it one last try with my 3D printing skills? The good news is that only the top handle is broken. Everything else still works perfectly. By pressing the button, I can push my handle down or pull it up. I am a bit doubtful on the effort it needs to fix it up, though. So let's try to assess it first. I can already see a few screws here. Let's open it up. There we go. This is the entire handle assembly. And the good news is it's completely independent. That means I don't need to redesign the whole mechanism. I only need to recreate this plastic part. That sounds much more manageable. I really wish there were an AI tool that could scan this part and instantly generate a 3D model. I even tried using ChatGPT, but it didn't help me much. So I must design this part 100% manually. Looking at the original piece, there are two areas that matter the most. The first is the connector that slides onto the suitcase rails. The second is the housing that holds the spring, the push button, and the top cover. If either one is even slightly off, the whole mechanism won't work. So instead of designing everything at once, I'm going to build these two sections separately, test them out first, and then come up with a complete part. The connector has a simple shape in theory: straight sides, rounded ends, and a few important holes. I'm using Tinkercad, so I'll build it using basic shapes already provided there. After taking some measurements, the connector is about 27 millimeters long and roughly 14 millimeters wide. Now I'll add the screw holes and the center hole for the locking rod. Time for the first print. Well, it doesn't fit. The connector is slightly too long, and it's also a little too wide near the ends. The screw holes are perfect. The center hole is also correct, but I forgot something important. The locking rod needs extra room to move, so I need to create a larger opening underneath. Let's update the design. Second print still doesn't fit. The rounded shape isn't matching the original. Instead of using standard shapes, I'm switching to the extrude sketch tool. This gives me much better control over the curves. Another print, closer but still not quite there. A few more adjustments make it slightly smaller. And finally, it slides perfectly into the suitcase rails. Or so I thought. Now it gets stuck halfway. Why? The screw heads are sticking into the guide rails. Now I understand why the original handle has these small grooves along the sides. They're clearance channels for the screws. Let's add those. Print it again. Perfect. The connector finally works exactly like the original. Now it's time for the upper housing. This section has a much bigger job. It needs to hold the spring, the push button, the cover, and still leave enough space for everything to move freely. The inside shape is basically an oval, which means getting the curves right will take a few tries. Again, I'm using the extrude sketch tool. After measuring the original part, I create the outer shell, make it hollow, and build a simple mock handle around it. The original also has two mounting holes for the cover plate. Let's add those along with some supports around them. Time for another print. The inside dimensions look good, but the cover doesn't fit. The opening needs to be wider, especially near the center and both ends. Back to Tinkercad, I'll increase the curvature, and while I'm here, I'll also add a small pocket for the spring. Let's print one more, and this time everything drops into place. The cover fits, the spring fits, even the screw holes line up perfectly. That's a good sign. Now comes the easy part. Connecting both finished sections together, I'll use a cylindrical grip in the middle, increase the overall length a little, and add a gentle curve on top so it's more comfortable to hold. Time for the final print. The print is finished. Moment of truth. The connector slides smoothly into the suitcase rails. The screws line up perfectly. Now let's install the spring, the push button, the cover plate, and tighten everything together. It actually looks like it belongs there. Everything is assembled, but does it actually work? Let's press the button. The locking rods move down. Release it. They come right back up, exactly how they're supposed to. I honestly wasn't expecting it to work this well. A broken suitcase saved with nothing more than a few measurements, a lot of trial and error, and a 3D printer. Sometimes fixing something feels even better than buying something new, and this suitcase is ready for another trip. Thanks for watching the video.